Hi, I'm Cheryl, and this is the Wholehearted Hub. This is episode 9, and we're going to talk about radical candor or brutal honesty. I mentioned in last episode about radical candor. We were talking about how it relates to ruinous empathy, which is something that rolls up under the umbrella of radical candor. And I realized we didn't talk about radical candor. So I thought, let's talk about it now. What is radical candor? Well, it's a book that was written by Kim Scott and it's been around for a long time. And it's something that I would say that I subscribe to, but it's not always used as intended. So, what is radical candor other than a book? It is described as caring personally while challenging directly. And it's meant to be kind, clear, specific, and sincere. And those are things that I intend to be when I communicate for the most part. Do I miss the mark sometimes? Yes, I do. We all do. We are human, we make mistakes. And that's why we watch YouTube videos like this to get prompts on how to make less mistakes. So why do I bring this up? Because in my life, I have experienced those who have delivered a message to me using the perceived lens of radical candor, but perhaps not executing as intended. Maybe there's someone who hasn't actually read the book, but has heard the term and is then applying it in a way that isn't as effective as it could be. And I'm a pretty forthright and straightforward person. And I think I'm perceived as someone who can handle the truth. And I definitely can handle the truth. I love the truth. I'm all about the truth. And I like it when it's delivered with some care and attention, like radical candor is intended to be. And so I thought I would give you a few prompts because radical candor without the right intention can just be brutal honesty. And brutal honesty is not nice. It's not constructive. And it's funny that I said it's not nice because that was the ruinous empathy that we talked about in the last episode. And so, if we want to avoid falling into the category of brutal honesty, which can be really hurtful and then not be received and not have the outcome that someone is looking to achieve when putting together a conversation or feedback that they're going to share with somebody. And we want all of your communication to be very successful. We want your communication to be exactly as you intend, assuming you intend it to be kind, clear, specific, and sincere. So, here are some prompts to help you put together a conversation where you want to deliver some meaningful feedback that is perhaps constructive or not just an attaboy, and you want to tell somebody something that you think they really need to hear. So the first thing that I would ask is, what is your intention? What is your intention when putting together this feedback, this candid bit of information that you want to share with somebody? What is your primary goal in providing this feedback to this person or engaging in this conversation with them? Are you aiming to help the other person grow and develop? Or are you just looking to unload your own frustrations and opinions? Because we do that. We do that a lot in our everyday lives. But make sure that you get clear on which is which. Because if you just want to unload your frustrations, perhaps you can provide the person with that information. Be like, you know what? I'm just here to vent. And so will you just listen and be my trash can for a minute? Because hopefully it's not about them if you're doing that. But if it is, also good to prompt them. The second is constructiveness. Is the feedback that you're providing them actionable and geared towards that growth and development that we talked about? Geared towards facilitating positive change? Are you providing specific examples or specific actions that they could take or suggestions for something that would work? Or are you just giving criticism? Because if it is directed to an individual about maybe an action that they took or something at work or something in your life, or perhaps it's a relationship, to just provide the criticism without some sort of suggestion or outcome or actionable feedback, it's really not that helpful. The third is, are you delivering it with respect? Are you respecting what you know of that individual and how they receive information? Are you respecting yourself and your own boundaries and values? A lot of the times we talk about what we think and we forget what we value. And so, for example, if you think that somebody's in the wrong and you really value friendship, will that change how you put together that conversation that you're going to have with them? The fourth thing is, are you open to dialogue? Are you willing to engage in a two-way conversation with this person to receive their perspective back? Are you open and willing to be challenged on your challenge? And I have a challenge on the word challenge next time. Are you willing to sit and listen to what they have to say, or how it made them feel, or what their experience is, or perhaps that they disagree with you? You know, we're all just sharing our own information and we don't have to agree all of the time. And if you're preparing for a radically candid conversation with somebody, then it would be great to know that you are open to receiving that same sort of radical candor in return. And the last prompt that I will give you is timing and tone. There's always a time and place, and sometimes it's not the time and place. And so, are you delivering this information in a time that is appropriate for the person to be able to receive it, for you to be able to really deliver it with success? And do you have the right language to convey what it is that you want to say? What's your tone? And this is the reason to have it in person or over the phone or via Zoom so that you can actually get across that sunlight that's trying to stream in. Get across the body language and the things that sometimes are really lost in text or really lost in email. Email and text can be so misconstrued and read through the lens of the mood of the person who's receiving them. And then things can go sideways very quickly. Nobody wants that. So, when having that radically candid conversation, not brutally honest, hopefully, see if you can do it in person where that's available to you. And if not, make sure that you can convey with your voice or a video the tone that it is that you're trying to capture. So, in closing, if you're someone who wants to be a really clear, specific, kind communicator, because clear is kind, nice isn't always nice, because sometimes nice means that it's not actually what you want to say, it's what you want someone to hear or think that they want to hear, then consider these prompts. The reflection that I'm going to leave with you today is, what kind of communicator are you? And not what kind of communicator do you want to be, although that's a great question too, but really grounding in the way you truly do communicate in your day to day. It could be in work, it could be at home with family or friends, your dog. What kind of communicator are you actually? Do you believe or do you demonstrate that you are candid? Are you clear? Are you kind? Are you critical? What kind of communicator are you? And maybe ask some of the people in your life, like, how do I communicate? Ask them to share with you candidly so that you have something to learn about yourself. And if there are things that you want to change, then you have the opportunity to learn about that and change it if you wish. So that's all we're talking about today. Radical candor, ideally not brutal honesty. They are different from each other. And leaving you with that reflection. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.